Okay, we'll open finance at 6 o'clock. We have Steve Bryant here from Good Energy. Well, turn it over to him.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for having me this evening. For those who don't know me, which I don't see a whole lot of familiar faces, I've been to many meetings over the last 13, 14 years here at Swansea. But tonight, Ben had asked me to come and kind of go over the municipal aggregation program, of which we are the consultant for the village of Swansea, and just kind of give you a background of where we're at, since there are some new members of the village board that may not be familiar with the process. First of all, I've been in government, some form or faction since a long time ago, but more than I can count. I was mayor with the village of Balto for 16 years, and prior to that, I was on the council there for another 12 years. So I had 28 years total in municipal government, and went to work for Good Energy, who's the company that oversees the aggregation, as well as the village-owned accounts here in the village of Swansea. And for everyone's information, the aggregation program was voted on and approved by the residents of Swansea in April of 2013. We have since that time overseen all the bidding processes and regulatory requirements as needed for the village. Many of the questions that come into the village or village board members pertain to the opt-out process and how it works. And we follow the regulatory requirements to a T. It's our responsibility to make sure that the village follows each and every one of those. And some of them are somewhat redundant. And a lot of times it creates questions, and hopefully tonight I can clear up some of those. So the entire opt-out program was adopted in 2010 by the state of Illinois and through the Fire Agency Act that was then done. And then, as I said, the village pursued it in 2013. We represent about 240 communities just in the Ameren territory alone in the state of Illinois. Many of them are neighboring communities. We oversee the majority of Madison and St. Clair County. We are the largest aggregation consultant in not only the state of Illinois, but also in the country. Part of the process that we have to make sure is compliant with, as I said, was the opt-out policies. And those policies, each time there is a change in the program, whether it be a price change, a supplier change, a term change, any of those changes are required then that each and every eligible account within a municipality that is part of that receives an opt-out letter in the mail. That always creates some questions. We have done our best as your consultant to take away as much of that, those phone calls coming to the village as we can. We've convinced our suppliers who bid to do what is the online opt-out process now. So that was a big help. Last round of opt-out was the first time that had happened. And those who decided to opt out, about over 60% of them opted out online. So they didn't have a lot of issues of waiting to call the call center or whatever. It was done really quickly online. It's a simple process. They plug in their verification number that's on their opt-out letter, and basically that's it. So that has worked really well. The one confusing thing that's in the letter, which is required by the statutory requirements, it says that residents have 21 days from the date of the letter to opt out of the program. Why that's a requirement, I have no idea, other than the fact that it gives some kind of a time frame for the supplier to know how many are going to be participating. And in that process, it's confusing because residents can opt out of the program anytime they desire, even after that 21 days. If it's the 22nd day, they can still opt out. If it's the 150th day, they can still opt out. There's no penalty or fees on the aggregation part at all for residents to opt out if they choose to do so. Where it becomes a little bit tricky is that if you opt out of the program and you remain out of the program and do not go to another alternative supplier other than Ameren for 60 days once you opt out, and you go back to Ameren's BGS service, it's called your daily service, then you're required by statute and by Ameren to remain with Ameren for 1 year. And that's regardless of what the price does. So, for example, if a resident would have opted out this last period, Ameren's current rate is 12.18. The village's is 11.88. And if they would have opted out, they would actually be opting out of a lower costing program. And to give you some history of how that has worked, over the years, our goal is to provide a choice for the residents, to provide the ability for them to have an alternative supplier with some protection away from the huge increases that we've seen, especially over the last 5 years. Back in 2022 and 23, we had done a 3-year contract for the group of which Swansea participates. And within about 14 months of that, the price escalated all the way up on Ameren's side to over 12 cents. The residents of Swansea and their group that they were in were at 4.958. And they reaped those benefits for another 18 months after the price had actually increased. With that being said, there has been, since Swansea had joined the aggregation, Ameren has changed their rates 30 times, while the aggregation has changed their rates 8 times. It gives residents a much more firm understanding of what those rates will be and for how long they will be. Although Ameren says that their rates are only changed twice a year, summer and non-summer, as you well know. If issues globally change, that causes issues like the whole conflict with Russia and Ukraine, that blew up the whole natural gas market, which now the majority, because coal is no longer the primary source of electric generation, is now natural gas. So when that blew up, the cost of generating electricity also blew up, and there was changes unannounced that were hit, which part of the opt-out process that we have, it gives the residents notice of what's going to happen. Ameren is not required to give those notices whatsoever. If they feel that, and most of the time, justifiably so, if they feel they need to use their ability to change the rates, they go to the ICC, present them with the reasoning for that, and then it gets approved by the ICC, and then the rates change. That's why we have been really working hard to lock in fully fixed rates, because the capacity issue in the state of Illinois is in a crisis. And the capacity really means that generators guarantee that each supplier will have the capacity that they need to offset their load of which they set. So each year they have an auction. And a couple of years ago, it blew up from about $30 a megawatt day, all the way up to $235 a megawatt day, which increased the rate at that time by about 2.5 cents. The most recent one, which was last April, went into effect in June of last year. It went from, again, $30 a megawatt day, and this time it went to $333 a megawatt day. And that's why you, as part of the Ameren territory, seeing such huge increases from last year to this year. And with that being said, what happened was when the state required coal to go away, quit being used as a generation fuel, they didn't actually visualize the impact that it was going to have. They thought that wind and solar would offset coal, and to a degree, it did offset the majority of it, but they forgot one important thing, and that is the AI data centers. The data centers now that are coming into Illinois, one data center can use more than Swansea as a community uses in a year. They'll double that and sometimes triple that, because they buy generation capacity from the same generators that Ameren does and other suppliers do. Homefield, who has been successful up until recently as the supplier for Swansea. There's Homefield and Constellation, who still have their own generation. Constellation actually was a little bit of the last contract that was awarded. And we felt comfortable doing a 17-month contract fixed in at a firm rate. And we anticipate, and everything we read, everything that we're told, every filings that we see, appears that next summer, the capacity auction will blow up once again and go sky high, probably worse than what it currently is, unless something miraculously happens. We understand that the governor has put a bill in place, which was tabled at the last session. It's a 250-page bill, so what all's in it, I don't know, but I do know that one of the requirements was that generation capacity is going to become more of a requirement for the suppliers versus the generators, meaning that the suppliers, including Ameren, who is actually just a pass-through company, they're just a delivery company who buys their product out there just like we do from other generation companies. They are looking at requiring them to build their own generation locations. Now, you talk to whoever, some people say it's a great idea, some say it's a bad idea, it gives them too much control. I don't really have an opinion of that, other than the fact that if they chose to go start building new generation, it's not going to happen. If they started playing today, we'd be lucky for it to be online in 5 years. So it's not anything that's going to happen in the near term. So I don't see any real good coming out of the process of how the aggregation is awarded, and even how we take care of the village-owned accounts. And we've had a history with Swansea. I have personally, since I retired as mayor back in 2012. So with all that being said, we have worked diligently trying to, and one of my goals was when I retired, I didn't plan to go to work when I retired, but Good Energy approached me, and also Alton and Godfrey were the first three basically in the Metro East who did aggregation. And they asked me if I would come on board as their government guy and oversee all the process. Because what I did when I was approached by Good Energy when I was mayor is I just did a thorough background on municipal aggregation enough so that I write the plans of operation and governance for them. I also now negotiate annual franchise agreements, which I actually did for Swansea years ago. They had a hiccup in their process of, they had a city manager at the time that made an error, and I went to Ameren and was able to renegotiate that franchise agreement and get Swansea $700,000. And I worked diligently to do that based on the fact that, and I think I need to say here, things have changed a lot in Swansea over the years. I used to attend meetings that was nothing like this. It was quite entertaining. It was good work to put it. So I commend all of you on that. No one knew who had the floor. No one knew. I mean, people were yelling and screaming before they ever got to me. I kind of got up there and thought, man, I hope I say the right stuff. I'm in trouble. But anyway, with that being said, I think the most important aspect of it is, although aggregation was originally designed to help save the residents money, it's really become an insurance policy for the residents. It's really there to protect them against the unanticipated spikes that they are going to see. And we would have loved to offer Swansea a 36-month or a 48-month fixed rate contract. Except the last time, there's none out there. No supplier will write that because the market is just, the capacity market's got everything up, turned upside down. So we were able to do a 17-month fix, and it was done basically at the same rate you're currently at. And interestingly enough, we're the only suppliers been able to eat those deals due to our number of clients that we have. And we have signed about 80 or 90 communities in the last month and a half to get those squared away. And last but not least, I guess, and most importantly, although we're not here just to save the residents money, people look at the program and they may look at their bill and think, well, okay, I saved $5 this month. That's not a lot of money. Well, since 2013, the residents of Swansea have saved over $3 million. Those are the people who are participating in the program. Now, keep in mind, that has fluctuated over the years from, at one time, there was a board member that created a little bit of an issue, and we had some problems, and he suggested everybody opt out of the program. Well, that was his priority, and he chose to do that. And the participation rate dropped from about 85% to about 68%. And when he did that, 2 months later, Ameren changed the rate, and those people were stuck. They couldn't get back out away from Ameren and back into the program, and we were considerably, cheaper priced than, because it's peaks and valleys on this. It's almost like the stock market, for lack of a better term. We're not always going to be the lowest, but we're going to be the most consistent, and you're going to know what you're going to pay. And it's not going to be based on global issues or anything else. It's going to be based on the contractual agreement between Swansea and the supplier. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, I oversee the municipal accounts as well. Ben has been perfect to work with. He's provided me the information that I needed. And when he got here, I'd actually had been doing Swansea's village-owned accounts for about 3 years prior, maybe 4, before Ben got here. And I think Ben will tell you that the bills were kind of scattered. I did not have all those accounts. For example, the lighting account by itself is one of your largest bills. People think the street lights just come on at night. They don't realize somebody's going to pay for them. So when those come on, you guys use over 1 million kilowatts a year in street lighting. Well, I do it differently than most because of my past experience with government and research. I realized that those are all off-peak hours, so they should be cheaper. So we do a totally separate contract for street lighting. And we get that at about a 2 or 3 cent cheaper rate than the rest of the facilities. But currently,
Which is real money.
yeah. Currently, the rate that of which Swansea is under is roughly 8.7 cents per kilowatt on the commercial account. Average rate today is 14.57 cents. So over the
Say that again for me, please.
it's 8.87 cents for Swansea's owned accounts through Direct Energy, who's their supplier, and average rate is 14.57 currently. And
You're saying the village of Swansea accounts, not residents.
owned accounts,
Correct,
correct? The
yeah.
ones that you guys own and pay for are considerably cheap. And we've done that through the bidding process. We make sure that every bidding requirement that you have, we have, to make sure that everything is done specifically to by regulatory requirements. And then, so just in the last 3 years on the accounts that the village actually pays for, they have saved about $190,000 in the last 3 years based on average numbers of their cost versus Cameron's average numbers. And then the projections are where, believe it or not, I was able to basically get the same rate that we currently have extended for an additional 4 years. And the Cameron would stay the same as they are now on average. You guys are gonna save, and they're probably not gonna stay the same. They're probably gonna, I mean, there's no indication they're gonna do anything to go up. But with that being said, you know, there'll be savings of $500,000 just on your accounts that you guys pay for. So I'll open it up for any questions that you might have.
Would you explain to me, and we stream our meeting now for the people out there listening. You said there was one group, or uses just a tremendous amount.
Yes.
Explain that, what that is.
Yeah, those are the AI data centers, the artificial intelligence data centers, the Meta, Facebook, those Meta, the companies, they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that because of the way Swansea is growing, I'm surprised they haven't approached you guys and wanted to put up a data center. And they have a lot of employees, and it's nonstop digital computerized stuff. And they run all day. And frankly, they don't really care what they pay. You know, they go to the same, you know, when we didn't hear them complaining when, you know, the capacity went from $30 a megawatt day to 333. They just pay it, and that gets passed on to their customers. They actually, Meta, which is Facebook, they recently bought the power plant up north that was really kind of almost not producing what it should. And they just recently bought it. And they teamed with Constellation, and they're going to rejuvenate that entire nuclear plant to produce probably twice what it's producing now. But they'll use that.
Wow.
So it really doesn't benefit us. And keep in mind also, so Ameren has, there's 2 components of your building. We receive, every summer, we receive calls from people that we represent. And unfortunately, when I was mayor, don't make this mistake, Mayor. When I was mayor, every time someone would call and I wasn't there, they take their name and I call them back. Well, I'd be on the run all the time and I just call them back on my cell phone. Now, everybody in the vault has my cell phone number.
I think I'd be.
So they call me direct and they pass them on to their relatives and wherever. So I literally get more calls on my personal cell phone than our call center gets.
I think I've made that mistake, sir.
Be careful. So with that being said, you know, we do our best, and although the opt-out system really is what people don't like. They don't like getting those opt-outs. They don't like watching for those opt-outs. There are some people that will not participate in this program regardless. They may be retired from Ameren, they may have relatives with Ameren, they may be, whatever reason, they won't. You know, there's some that says government doesn't have a place in this. Well, government's had a place in it for years. And the end result is you guys are trying to do the right thing, and people don't understand it sometimes, that you're trying to protect them. And all you're doing is your job as elected officials to oversee a program that makes sure that if something happens, if you take, for example, in 22 and 23, your participation rate was well over 92% of all your homes participated in this program. The next year, our rate was locked in at a 12-cent rate, and Ameren was able to drop to 9 cents. People dropped this program and started opting out like crazy. But when they did, shortly afterwards, the prices level off, and they're stuck, and they can't get out for another year. So that's why it's tough sometimes. And when they have 2 seasons, winter or summer and non-summer. And summer are the 4 biggest months of the year in usage. So you get 4 months of heavy usage: June, July, August, and September. Those are basically the summer months. Ameren's delivery rates went from 3.4 cents during those months to 7.5 cents. And if I'm off 1/10 of a cent, forgive me, but that's really close. So when people got their bills, they immediately start calling Village Hall or somebody. I say, hey, the aggregation rate didn't change. It's the delivery. And, you know, they did it. Now the delivery will drop down come October, so they'll see a drop there. My gut tells me that Ameren's rates will drop also come, you know, the non-summer months. They usually do. And when they do, and they drop, the people, you know, right now you're sitting at roughly a little bit over 80% participation that's in the eligible residents in this community. And another 10 or 11% that aren't in the program are under utility hold because they had previously opted out within the last year, so they can't get back in right now. But they'll be able to get in on those anniversary dates of their opt-outs.
Steve, a question.
Do you guys notify them? When their anniversary dates are, do you notify them again?
Yes.
Let them know they can opt it
We
back.
do what's called sweeps. So the suppliers will do a sweep and find out how many residents were not originally sent opt-out, and then they'll resend those who were now not on utility those opt-outs.
Steve, you had mentioned that when you opt out, do you automatically have to go to Ameren, or can you go to another
You
provider?
can go to another provider.
And then you still have the year waiting list?
Only 60 days though. You have 60 days to do that. Say you were in the aggregate, say you opted out of the aggregation.
Right.
And then somebody knocked on your door and said, hey, we got a great rate. And you sign a contract. If that's within the first 60 days, you're good. You can sign it. But after 60 days,
Okay.
you cannot.
Okay, after 60 days, you're in the aggregation, you can't. But you can opt out to Ameren at any time.
No, you cannot opt out from Ameren.
No, I'm saying opt out of the aggregation into Ameren at any time.
Yeah, you can opt out.
But you can't opt out to go to another provider other than Ameren.
Yeah, you're on the Ameren utility hold. You cannot opt out of that. You're there for 1 year. And regardless of what their customer service tells you, if anybody calls and complains about that, I think I've done it once, but we have documentation saying those exact words. You have 60 days to name a new supplier. If you don't, you have an additional 10 months. So it equals 1 year total the first 60 days. And those 10 months that you cannot leave Ameren, regardless of the rates.
So the current contract is up December 1st, if I remember right?
Yeah, December 3rd.
So you want to talk about, we do have some new trustees. You want to talk about how that process goes, like when letters go out?
Yeah.
Because that's when you'll start seeing
The
questions.
opt-out letters will, based on the regulatory requirements, the opt-out letters will go out mid to late September of this year. They'll receive those opt-out letters. If they opt out, they will be opted out at the time, and they'll have 60 days to get a new supplier. If they don't, they're with Ameren for a year. If they do nothing, then they're automatically in the program. That's how the program is written. So they'll automatically be in the program, and they'll reap the benefits of being in that program for the next 17 months, because that's the term of the new contract. And what we like to tell people that they understand, and it's not our job nor the village's job to convince them to participate in the program. If they don't want it, that's a call. But let them make that call, because the end result is you don't want people opting out. There's a mistake made like 10 years ago that happened. And if you make a recommendation, well, then just opt out. Just opt out of the program. Then they opt out, and then Ameren's rates shoot up next summer, which is more likely will. If they shoot up, then they're going to be back yelling at you guys. and it's just better that each person, as long as you guys follow the rules, and those rules are they get those opt-outs. And people say, well, I just opted out of this, 6 months or, because the last contract was an 18-month contract. But there was a price change at 12 months. So they got an opt-out 6 months ago, and even those people who opted out 6 months ago, now, the ones who opted out and are on utility hold will not get an opt-out, because there's no reason to send them an opt-out because they're on utility hold.
Right.
So they won't get an opt-out, but the other ones will. And when that happens, somebody may have opted out, say, 6 months prior to that, and they're now eligible. Their biggest complaint may be, well, I just opted out. Why do I have to opt out again? Simple answer, it's the way the program is written, and it's governed that way. And the reason for that is if we don't notify on behalf of the village every eligible customer, and there's an upside down somewhere where the aggregation is, say, 10 cents and Ameren's 15 cents, they're going to say, how do you get an opt-out? Some of them say, I don't want them, but they'll want them if there's that opportunity for them to say that kind of money. And it's just, it's a tough program to manage, and we do our best to stay on top of everything and make it as easy for our clients as possible. But again, the opt-out process is cumbersome. It's a process, but the process has worked, and we worked through it and really tried to make the best of everything. And when the end result is those people get in the program, stay in the program, over the long run, they've all saved money, considerable money. And that's a lot of money they spend in Swansea.
So that's your message to the folks out here in the program, that if you stay the course, you're most likely going to come out ahead.
Yes, and the end result will be that if you get in the program, stay in the program, and just let the program run its course for the first 13 years, everybody's participated and stayed in the program has saved money. And that's really the end result.
Simple message.
Yeah.
That is in reference to the supplier fee, not the delivery fee, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All we can control and all we can shop is the supply. We can do nothing on delivery.
And remember, if the delivery rate changes, it's gonna change regardless of whom your supplier is.
Correct.
You're paying the delivery fee through Ameren, whose system it is.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to.
That's a good question. Yeah, it's a great question, because, you know, some people say, well, we want to shop at delivery. There's no shopping delivery. It's Ameren stuff. It's their lines, it's their poles, and, you know, we ran into, St. Clair Township is also, they're fairly new into the aggregation, program. They've been in it now 2 years, I think. And they've already shown savings, but when they first started, you know, it was new in the township, so they were just, Shelley was getting tons of calls, and you know, Shelley reacts in a way that she wants to serve her constituents. Every time she gets a call, I get a call, so I just put her on speed dial. Kept answering them, and you know, because there's no guarantee that we're going to be cheaper. There's not. In the long run, it's going to average out to where it's a great program. But if people try to opt out when the aggregation rate is higher, somewhere along the line, they're going to have an
It'll
issue.
burn you.
Somewhere along the line, they're going to have an issue.
Well, they can probably equate that to, do I stick the course on, you know, doing my stocks or whatever?
Yeah,
Or do I
you're exactly.
start selling here, there, and all of a sudden,
Some people,
I wish I'd done this?
yeah, and some people look at it, just like I said, as the stock market does. You see it all the time. People will have a sell-off and that's just like getting out of the aggregation. Then all of a sudden, that stock rebounds. You know, there was still more money there. So, but it happened. And for the most part, you guys did a remarkable job, and you stayed the course. I worked with a lot of governments. You guys really, in the last few years, I would say that, but I didn't mean it, so I commend you.
Okay, did anybody have any other questions?
Would it be worth him writing a short article for Swansea Report explaining it?
And I said, Ben, and what we do is we try to take care of all of the press releases. We do a draft, and I send it to the village administrator and the city managers. They make a decision what they want to change. If they can change whatever, it's a draft, and anything they want to change, they're able to change. And
So that'll be in the November, December issue then? We missed I wish we would have got that earlier because for the September issue, since it's going to hit September.
yeah, and but believe it or not, we just got this done.
We just signed it.
We were really having a hard time getting what I was comfortable with rate-wise from our suppliers, because everybody is they're just scared to death of what's gonna happen with this capacity. And if it blows up again next year like they're anticipating it is.
Ben, can we put something on the website then, since it's going to miss that, so that when people go to fact check it to make sure that they know what it is? That'd be great. At least there's a reference there for them.
And so, you know, too, when we did the municipal accounts just recently, got those set up on the new 48-month renewal. Those are all now, all your accounts, all your eligible accounts will period needs to participate in community solar. And community solar is just another way of collecting benefits from the solar farms that you have seen spring up, mainly on farm ground. Not always, but some of them they decide to put them right in the most developed part of town, but usually they're out in farm ground and everything else. You could reap those benefits and save 10% additional on each one of your accounts that are eligible. And that will save Swansea literally probably, I'm guessing right off the top of my head, somewhere around $70,000 to $90,000 a year additional. So I even looked at that to make sure, because there's criteria that it's got to be billed a certain way. You can have an alternative supplier like Direct Energy, but you have to be billed from Ameren, because Ameren controls those community solar discounts. So we did that just recently, got that all squared away, and it's ready to go. So that'll be our next project.
Good deal. Thank you. Appreciate all your information.
All right. If you need anything else, just let me know, and I'll happily provide you whatever you need.
Thanks, Steve.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Close at 6:38.
Personnel, please.
Open Personnel Committee at 6:38. Got two items tonight for us, Mayor. One is a travel
Thanks, Steve.
request.
The good guy.
Thank you for being here. A travel request. This is for Chief Bloomberg and Deputy Chief Howard. This is for the 2025 Illinois Chapter FBI National Academy Associates Annual Conference in Galena, Illinois, November 4th through 7th. The training costs for two people, this is for two, training costs $800, lodging $804, meals at $210, and fuel at $369.51, for a total estimated cost of $2,183.51. I'd like to make a motion to forward that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The second item I have is for a offer letter for paid on-call duty crew firefighter Luke Crossley. Chief, anything you'd like to say about Luke?
Mr. Crossley came in, he's come in a couple times to talk to us. He does have certain issues as required. He seems very energetic about getting in the fire service community and helping our community as much as he can. I would hope that this community would recommend his hire, please.
Thank you so much for your feedback. So we have a non-exempt hourly position we'd like to offer him at 19 an hour. I'd like to make a motion to forward that to the board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is all for personnel, closing personnel committee at 6:40 PM.
Thank you. Judiciary.
Yes, I would like to open up
Skip the rest.
Judiciary at 6:40. We have one thing on the agenda. It is an ordinance regarding the traffic code. This is a rewrite of the original ordinance that was put together with the consideration of some of the things that some trustees had in reference to being the fund police or anything like that. So it has been rewritten. I am actually, believe it or not, more in favor of the original one. It's a little bit more clear, it's a little bit more concise. But within this, I wanted to bring this to the board as a form of discussion because the thing is that something has to be done regarding people in the streets, regarding basketball hoops, regarding just a lot of that. And the thing is that, truthfully, I just want this board, I want us as a board to do something regarding this. So I'm just curious if anybody had any suggestions or anything else that we can do to move forward with making something happen regarding this.
Trustee Lewis, can you walk us through the changes that were made from the other one to this one so that, because I know you said that you liked the other one better, it would help us, I think.
Okay, so yeah, so the very first one did not have the same exemptions that it has now. So there was only one section that realistically changed, and that was the exceptions section. Prior to the exceptions only included things that were authorized by the village, meaning block parties, things of that nature. The new version now has exceptions that include, forgive me, that include the idea of individuals, it's part C in that, which says individuals placing recreational equipment may be exempt from regulation as long as they do not impede vehicle traffic or create hazards. That's the portion that I do not necessarily like, just based on the fact that there is a lot of wiggle room within that. And the wiggle room that is within that, that may be a little bit more difficult to actually. So that is a part of the reason of why I'm not a fan of that exception, but I included it in so that the board would also have something else to consider due to the fact that the original ordinance was being accused of being the fund police. So I thought it was a fair enough compromise. But like I said before, I am the biggest fan of the original one. That's the only major the major change that was in the original law. And truthfully, we have to, again, like I said, do something and, to maintain traffic flow. And honestly, more than anything else, we have to establish a community standard. Within the Village of Swansea, we have to establish a community standard that the police will be able to use, that code enforcement will be able to use, to the point where people will understand and know, hey, you know what? This is not something that is acceptable within Swansea. People doing things in the middle of the street that impede traffic, and it gives us a tool. Just based on the fact that it wasn't in one particular area. I literally just experienced it myself to the point where when I discussed it with the individuals that were doing it, I was cursed out. And when I went to go talk to their parents about it, guess what? I was cursed out by their parents. So the fact is that realistically, if we can say that kids and people would be respectful all of the time regarding this, then I would not believe that there would be a need for this. But the fact is that when people don't step up, it is our job as leaders to step up and do what we can to create a community standard. And that's a part of the reason of why I wish that that's why I have a desire for us to actually do something. So regardless if we go with the original one, or if we go with this version, I will stand on this and I will keep pushing for something until we do something regarding this. Actually, you know what? I honestly would really love for Dan and code enforcement to speak towards this issue, if you don't mind.
That'd be a great idea.
Sure, if you all would like, I can go over the exact changes. Again, my preference would be that for the issue we're trying to remedy, that we do get have the strict language.
And just so that we're all on the same page, the issue we're trying to remedy, what is that from an enforcement standpoint?
It's street congregation. It's having recreational activity in the streets and keeping people and kids and that out of the streets.
For their safety as well as for vehicular movement, correct?
Exactly, and there just have been issues presented to me from a code enforcement standpoint with discrepancies between neighbors and in neighborhoods about these things continually taking place.
It's a growing problem.
My thought process was we make it strict, put it in code, and then it's there if we need it. Rather than kind of taking our foot off the gas and creating additional exceptions, we roll with the initial stricter version, just because we have something that we can use if we need it. That is the thought process on my end. Because it's been on the various complaints of all kinds constantly. This one has been a frequency.
Chief, any feedback you want to weigh in on from your standpoint from an enforcement?
From an enforcement perspective, I have quite a few issues with how it's currently written. Every section has a last line I'd like removed because that's creating gray area, which is going to create all kinds of problems for us to enforce it.
Okay.
And the allegations that we're treating this person different than this person. And so, we'll enforce whatever you come up with, but we just want it to be, like you said, I don't like the word strict, but clearly defined on what the behavior is not being allowed.
So Chief, would you agree that the original version, you would prefer that one over the reprint?
Unfortunately, I didn't print the original. I only went off the most recent one that you
Not
have.
the original for me either.
Okay.
I'm not sure about
So the part you don't like, Chief, just to make, is it the exceptions pieces?
pretty much 7401A, the last line, B, the last line, C, the last line, and 7402 exceptions, section C, which he specifically discussed.
And the only reason, like I said before, that any of that was even brought up was because the original law was accused of being the fun police. That's the only reason why a majority of that was even, placed in there.
I guess, one of the questions I have is, we talk about that this is a growing issue, but we don't have any data in front of us. That's always something that, because we have a lot of data about other nuisances that we, are not enforcing at the current time. Like abandoned vehicles and trash and other things that make quality of life also an issue. I just, I think this is a community education issue. That again, it's, have we put it in the Swansea report and tried to say, we don't want to enforce, something that's very, police come to your door, you're out in the street, you're going to get a $75 ticket. I'm just saying worst case scenario, or, it's much higher than that in some cases, so that we can actually have a good public discussion about this. So we can, again, not implement something that may not be needed, or it may be needed because people don't want to, respect the community. I appreciate your commentary about, what you experienced, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we have that in our community and our world.
Carrie, have you sat down with the chief?
I have not sat down with him. I have not sat down with him regarding this.
Okay. Well, I think before we do anything, I'd like for you to sit with the chief and discuss these various things. As far as data, I don't know how you create data on this kind of issue. This is happened in the street.
Well, we
Well, shouldn't be
apparently
reports, right?
have calls. That's what
Well, no, so-
they
Yeah.
answer.
No, it's not going to always be reported.
So within that, realistically, the thing is that a lot of times people are not necessarily reporting it, and they're not going to necessarily report it because they do not necessarily believe anything can be done about it. So I'm not saying that we can't get data regarding this, but the thing is that I know if we wait on the data, sometimes we may be too late. And that's the thing that I don't want. I'm almost certain that if we went through, I guess, the possible complaints that were made, we could find something, or we can find some data. And what I will do is I will schedule some time with the chief. I'll sit down with the chief as well as code enforcement. And I guess I will take a third rewrite. But the fact is that more than anything else, I want this board to do something about it before it becomes a greater issue. Charlie, you had something that you wanted to ask or say, or?
When you're done.
Oh, yes, sir. No, go for it.
So it occurs to me that this whole issue of sports is a red herring. The important government interest that the village has is in making sure that the streets are safe for traffic, which is what they're primarily designed for. It doesn't really matter whether they're playing tiddlywinks, having a group hug, or anything else. So you can totally separate recreational activities from the issue of whether or not the street is open to traffic and being kept that way. You don't really care whether it's a basketball or a ball, let's try that again, basketball goal that is blocking part of the street, or a pile of lumber, or a bunch of leaves that are swept out there. The deal is the street needs to be kept open to traffic. Combining it with the thought of recreational activities sends a message that really isn't important to the village. The most important part is keeping people off the streets so that the streets are safe and that cars can access them as designed. I really think you really need to figure out what the problem is that you're going to solve. The question is this directive going to solve this problem? I can't imagine anybody is saying, oh, yes, it's going to definitively solve the problem. If it's not going to solve the problem, is it worth doing?
I think maybe the issue here is that let you two guys get together, or three, I'm sorry,
I went down.
discuss the issue. I don't think there will be much data you can gather, but I do agree with Mr. Tuvenall that education through our website, education to the Swansea report of basically really about being respectful. If you're out in the street doing something, here comes a car, you move. I mean, it's been that way our whole life. We played basketball on the street. The car got about half block away from us. We were out.
Correct.
And then we'd be back. And we were out, we'd be back.
Dan, it'd be helpful if you could pull together just some examples, even if we don't have exact data. So that way we can have an idea of what type of things you're working with and work with Chief to see if you have anything on your reports as well. You may not have done tickets or anything like that because of the enforcement piece, but if we have an idea of multiple neighborhoods over a period of time, we've had some fun. It would help us understand the greater scope of what we're looking at as well.
Pull together what I can.
That'd be great. That'd be okay with you?
I mean, at the end of the day, code enforcement or police have the discretion of how to handle it.
Absolutely.
And out there also. I agree with Carrie. This gives some teeth if they have to handle something.
Yeah.
It gives them something to, because right now, currently in our code, we have nothing.
Specific to basketball rules now.
Right.
Or generally congregate. So within that, honestly, I'm gonna say one thing else regarding this of what I have the greatest desire for this ordinance to actually accomplish. So that way the board can be clear, as well as the community. I really have desire for ordinance to maintain a balance between the recreational activities, public safety. And within that, I want something that will have clear regulations. I want something that will, focus on traffic flow protection, hazard prevention, and again, establishing a certain community standard. That's what I like. That's what I would like.
Okay. Then you folks get together and then come back at a later time. Let's continue moving on. We will, please. Mr. Lewis, do you have anything else?
No. The last thing I'm gonna say is that I will accept as many recommendations as possible. I have yet to receive any outside of the other two gentlemen that I have been speaking to regarding it. My apologies, Chief, you were on vacation. That's why I didn't get back with you in reference to that. So the thing is that board, all of us, if you have something, give it to me so that I can include it in there. That's it. I would like to actually close out judiciary at 6:57.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Community and Economic Development, Mr. Lanner, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Public Safety, Mr. McGuire.
Item number one, I'll open up public safety at 6:57. Item number one is an ordinance declaring village personal property, specifically for police SUV interceptors for surplus and to be sold. I'd like to make a motion to forward that to the board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Closed at 6:58.
Public Works, sir, Mr. McGuire.
I'll open up Public Works at 6:58. We have a resolution accepting the price quotation of $44,400 from Equipment Service Company to purchase and install a new Iron Star platform body and a HD Western snowplow for the Public Works Department for the new 2025 F600 we purchased. I'd like to make a motion to forward that to the board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. In your packet, you'll see, if you got a chance to review the numbers, We have a resolution authorizing the president of the board to execute a contract with Mayor Landscaping of Belleville in the amount of $568,302.17 for our previously approved MFT road work. Specifically, it's Ednick, correct?
That's correct.
Ednick Drive. I'd like to make a motion to forward it to the board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Close at 6:59.
Ben, just for clarification, please, it says with Meyer Landscaping, but it's road work. That's just the name of their company. They do road work, correct? I don't want people to think we're spending that kind of money on landscaping.
And we have checked up on some of the previous jobs that they've done, and they've checked out just fine. We're familiar with the company, but we did have some questions about their ability to pay, and we did look into that, and we're satisfied with the results that we.
Okay, so we're not landscaping along the road. That's not what we're doing.
They also did the trail extension.
Application for the public.
That came up in the engine house too.
I need the company.
Sean's Park
Okay, very good.
last year.
And throughout the park.
Thank you. Cultural Committee, Mr. Lewis, anything?
Nothing at this time.
Ms. Jablonski, Swansea report.
Want reports online, sir?
Thank you much. This time we'll open up the regular meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jablonski,
Present.
trustee Tubman, trustee Lewis, trustee Lanter,
Here.
trustee McGuire,
Here.
trustee Poche.
Here.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval of board minutes on August 14th, special board meeting and a special committee meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second? I didn't hear.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Entertain a motion for the board minutes and the committee minutes for August 18th.
Mayor, just one word change in the finance committee. It says have the money thrown from the proper accounts. Just that's a draw on.
Okay.
I'm not throwing money from the accounts.
Okay.
And I also want to include the community and economic development executive session minutes on August 18th. So I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Acceptance of the minutes. We just did that, though.
We had twice.
Okay.
We were overachievers.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said it was overachievers. We put it on there twice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Going too fast. Mayor's announcements. I have a few announcements to make. Obviously, everybody knows that we had a person walk out of an assisted living. Mr. Bill Crispin was gone, 6-7 days. The police department, fire department got in on this, boom, fast. When I heard about it, I took off over that way, and they already had a command center set up. They had people, they had dogs out, they had tracking, they had drones, they had the state police flying above. You name it, it was going on. The fire chief and his crew were out there in force and working diligently and quickly. Things were coming in to what we need to do. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. Our chief of police was on a well-deserved vacation and trip, so his assistant, Deputy Chief Howard, stepped in, and I want to tell you, Chief, your deputy did a fantastic job. He was there every day, every moment. I called him, I don't know how many times, and he's probably got tired of me, but he still answered me because I was racking my 49 years of law enforcement and say, hey, chief, do you do this? Hey, chief, you do that. Done it. I finally quit bugging him because he'd done everything. And after that, it just went on and on. I know the community of Swansea was concerned. We went as far as to call a community group to come out and do a search, which they did with the Missouri Valley Search and Rescue people. They're sitting right over here. I'm going to introduce them in a minute. I think I recall 65 citizens or so.
At 61.
61 came out. I gave them a thank you. My old detective days couldn't help say, if you find a body and it's not alive, step back. Could be a crime scene. But thank God when they found Mr. Crispin, he may have been in rough shape, but he was responsive somewhat and he was alive. He's doing better today. I've talked to his sister and his nephew and his nephew's son, Chris, who was on the news today. And they said that he may never remember everything that happened because of the damage that his brain incurred when he had a heart attack a few years ago. And but he's alive and he's well. They do have some concerns about all the tremendous bug bites and open sores on him, but we're all going to pray to the good Lord that he will be healed. Now I want to move on to introduce Chris Diamond of the Missouri Valley Search and Rescue. He's the team director and president of this group. They got called in to help because they are a professional group that does search and rescue. And before I turn it over to Chris to talk about this, I'm sure you have many other agencies that help you that got involved in this, and I'd like for you to discuss that.
Yeah, I'll recognize.
But if you get online with the Missouri Valley Search and Rescue, do you have something online where people can donate to your
Yes.
Get online and donate. They run this organization on donations, but they were here as much as our own people were here. And I saw their setup and I saw the expertise they brought. And I even talked to Chris today about, I like that so much, I may be getting involved with you, sir. So Mr. Diamond, it's yours.
Right. Here or there?
Why don't you stand up here so everybody can see you and hear you and introduce who you brought.
Oh, good evening. My name is Chris Diamond. I am the team chief from Missouri Valley Search and Rescue. With me tonight is my deputy chief, Mike Lawrence. He was actually out in the group that actually found Mr. Crispin out there in the field on Saturday.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the community and everyone else that kind of helped support this whole search throughout the entire week. And Mr. Crispin was gone. There were a lot of agencies that actually were a part of this that a lot of them, unfortunately, don't get recognized. They're out there for a short time or doing things more behind the scenes and just don't get the recognition. So hopefully I can try to recognize all the agencies that we're aware of. Hope I don't miss any that were a part of this search going on. I'd like to say definitely thank you to you for coming out and being out there and helping support us on Saturday that we're out there. I'd also like to say thank you to Deputy Police Chief Howard, because he was kind of our go-to person out there all week while we were out there searching. Some of the members of the community didn't realize we were there. It's kind of what we like to do. We don't like to be flashy, showy. Being up here is not a normal thing. I don't like to be in the spotlight. Neither does our group. We just want to be behind the scenes, kind of do what we do and kind of move on from there. But also like to really say thank you to Olivia Johnson, who kind of spearheaded Saturday's volunteer organization, getting all the volunteers and food and everything kind of ordered.
Explain her function, please.
Olivia was former law enforcement. She was actually part of our team many years ago, kind of in the first form. I've been doing this now for almost 23 years. For those of you that are old enough, might remember Sean Hornbeck and his search. We was inducted back in 2002. She was actually a part of that team back then, and she kind of moved on and has done other things. She actually now works with law enforcement, working with trying to prevent police suicides and other things like that in the community. So she does that, but it has kind of brought us in because she actually lives here in the community. So was out here pretty much every day helping us, trying to be a resource here on the ground, helping search for Mr. Crispin out there. Go on. And every tip that came in, she was out the door and trying to follow up and see if it really was him. You know, call someone, hey, there was a guy looked like him at McDonald's. She was there, trying to figure out if it was him or not, and just trying to help us kind of be eyes and feet on the ground out there. We talked the other day, this really does take a village of people and resources to actually do searches like this. Yes, we may be right now the face of the search, finding him Saturday, but it wasn't just us that kind of put the search on. There were many agencies that actually helped with the whole process from day one. Including the fire departments, hopefully I get everyone, as far as we know. There was Swansea, East Side, Fairview Heights, Signal Hill, Columbia, Smithton Fire, and Northwest Fire and Belleville were actually on standby. Those are the fire departments that were actually involved with the search. Police, we had Swansea, Fairview Heights Police Departments, the Illinois State Police Area Operations, and the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System Division 32. For search teams, there were Missouri Valley, which is us, St. Clair Emergency Management Agency, St. Clair Emergency Response Team, Star Canine Co-op. We had Mike Kennedy of Pulaski County Canine. He was on standby, and Gateway Search Dogs was actually called in, but actually got called out on another search before they could actually make it here. Because they were called in on Wednesday and called out for a Friday search, but they had called out another search in between those two. So all those agencies, plus all the volunteers that came out, actually made this whole search happen. We just happened to be there the day that he was found, which we're glad we were able to come out, help the volunteer coordination check in, getting the teams on the field. But all week long, we had members of our team and other teams with canines, with drones, with the boats, with everything, trying to narrow down where he could be if he was still here. Unfortunately, you never know. With roads and cars and things like that, you could go anywhere very fast. We still felt like he was still in the area, so we were kind of still thinking more local. So with the dog saying he probably didn't cross over Old Collinsville Road and was still between kind of the church and that point, that's where we're really focused, and the cornfields and the bean fields was kind of our main focus area. Even though the family really thought that probably wasn't going to be an option for him. Apparently he has sensory issues, so any corn, anything touching him was going to be a major issue. Well, sometimes when you're in a different state of mind, things like that just go out the window. So we looked there anyway. So that's what we did. So, I mean, every resource out there helped kind of get the search going and conducted and concluded on Saturday with him being found alive. It is very amazing that he was still alive out there. No food, no water, no shelter for the 8 days as far as we're aware. We don't know what happened between day 1 and day 8.
And we probably never
will.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would love to know, but we probably never will. It still amazes me that the beers that he bought were still sealed. That's gonna be amazing that he didn't at some point being there didn't think that he needed a drink of something. So like I said, he had the will to survive out there, which is extremely strong and extremely amazing. So like for us, we were called out on Sunday the 24th to help the search. And after that day, we were out there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. A few of our group came out on Friday, and we had the big search on Saturday with everybody. And with, like I said, everyone's effort throughout the week, it really helped us kind of narrow down where we really wanted to focus our efforts. And so without them, I doubt he would be found alive at this point, or even found at all, without continued search efforts out there. I know that agencies, sometimes you just don't have budgets, if they're paid departments, things like that, they just want the budgets continue on because they've got other jobs and tasks to do. So that's why groups like us do exist. We're all volunteers, every one of us, and we provide these services, kind of anywhere. For us, anywhere from Quincy, Illinois, down to Nashville, Tennessee is our range. So it's a big, large area. So just a little stats, just on my husband, he was found 0.67 miles from his home in their residency. So a little more than half mile and 1,700 feet from our command area.
Of course, he probably walked a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. But that's as far as he was, when everyone came over, it's like, where was he found? He's like, do you see the trees over there? That's where he was. Like, just so close. And yet we were so far from him. But he said, we're gonna be out there all day if we had to. And, if we could get more information, if that day didn't produce anything, we were gonna keep trying, helping on as we could and try to hopefully find him.
Well, I think what people need to know is that whole time in the command center, all you're doing is thinking, what?
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Yeah.
And without an answer. I mean, once you get the answer where he was, well, it's not that easy.
Well, and even then, how did he get there? We still don't know how he got there.
Right.
And there's still a million questions. There's a million questions before, and we have a new set of million questions after. But it's how we learn, it's how we grow, and hopefully provide our services to the next one. We can learn off this one and bring it to the next search. As we said, we're all volunteers. We do everything we do is by donations from the community to do this, or out of our own pockets to do this. I've been doing this now for 23 years. Been all over the world, actually, teaching and searching. I was over in Kosovo 10 years ago, teaching their military this. So just something I want to do, but not my day job. So it's just one of those things that Mike, he is my number two. He's actually been able to do some things that I can't do during the day, during work. So he actually can run out and take over searches and like that for us and help us out. So I said, always donations, always looking for volunteers as well.
Well, volunteers, and then no donation wise, I'm hoping that I've had conversations today with Channel 2, Channel 5 about doing some stories about how you guys focus and how you get to your ability to do what you do through donations. And I think they're going to try to run stories and help you out with that.
Definitely appreciate
Put it on their website. Sir, I got to commend you that after you went through that cornfield, and it would have been very easy to just forget about that little patch of wood by there, but you didn't do it. And thank God you saved that man's life.
Yes, sir. Well, like Chris said, we didn't do this in a vacuum, and all the agencies that we were working with made that happen. We're just glad that he's home.
No, you were on scene. You could have easily just said, not that, but you didn't. Thank you.
At least you don't look.
Again, a million thank yous. I've talked to the family today at length, and they wanted me to express to you and to the whole community and all the people that did come out, what a wonderful group you have, what a wonderful town we have in Swansea, and that they're extremely happy and proud to have Swansea take care and step up like they did.
So we're definitely appreciative of the town and everybody else, all the fire departments, and all the emergency agencies that were out there helping. All the, I said, wasn't for them, all the other groups that were out there. I don't know if he would be where he's at right now, getting the help he needs. So we're glad we were able to help. And
we are too, and I will be in touch with you because I got to tell you, it gets my blood going.
We definitely appreciate it. And we always say it's like we're always just a phone call away. Hopefully you never need us, but we're always here to get you.
And that's comforting. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
At this point in time, just for a few minutes, Chiefs, do you either want to have anything you want to add about your departments?
So I'd just like to commend Deputy Chief Howard. And as you mentioned, I happened to be out of town last week, so I missed all this, but just his ongoing excellence of what he does, his leadership, his dedication to public safety is just, it's impeccable. It's so impressive, everything that he does. Anytime he touches anything, I know things are going to go well. So I'm glad he was there and able to do that. Obviously, there's a ton of appreciation, gratitude for us to express to all those organizations he just mentioned in his presentation. It definitely took every single one because we had no information. We knew he was at a convenience store, and then we had nothing to point us in what direction to go. So
Maybe a dog here and there alerting, but
yeah, and then we had one thing would take us one direction, and then that'd be a dead end, and then we'd have to go off somewhere else. So it was a very taxing incident for sure, but obviously the best outcome possible. Fire department was fantastic for us again, so we appreciate these guys. But again, just continued excellence by Deputy Chief Howard, and I just
tell him I'm sorry I blew up his phone so much.
no worries, he understands. But he just, you know, I just wanted you to hear from me that he just continues to do outstanding work.
Chief Little in your department that came out in strength.
I'm very happy with not only our department members that came out and on multiple days, but working with Deputy Chief Howard, working with the county, with Mr. Brian Whitaker, reeling in the resources throughout the Mavis division. So not only was it our fire department, but like Chris mentioned, we had 5 other fire departments come out to try to help us. And knowing that it was our community and the availability of other departments to send their personnel to try to help us find him was astronomical. I think all of us wish that we could have found him a little bit sooner. But getting the community and the resources together to work together to try to find the best outcome.
Well, the key to that was that nobody quit.
Correct.
Nobody quit. They kept going. And it would have been easy to quit. No, not really. That's not in the DNA of our first responders, these people, or even the people that came out and the people of this community. DNA is not a quitter DNA in Swansea. So thank you for everything. Chris, thank you. Thank you, sir. I don't want to bore you with the rest of our meeting, and I thank you for coming over, but I wanted you to talk about your organization and everything, and much appreciated.
We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Right. Moving on. Okay, let's start. Rick, do you have anything, sir?
I don't have anything interesting.
Started oil, that's the way to put it.
Oil and rock.
Oiling and chipping this week.
Yeah, this
It's a long, busy week for them.
We're oiling and chipping all this week, and this is our first day, and we had some scheduling issues this morning with the rain. It doesn't matter where you go, what time of day, what time of year, what time of month, we are gonna not make many friends out there. So
Are you saying a few people gave you a hard time?
more than a few, about 50%. We had some people that were very gracious and very kind. We had others that were completely opposite.
Well, I would ask that everybody be kind to you all because you're doing some good work out there.
The good part of it is we get through it and we're done. It's not a long lasting event. So it'll all be behind us here in a couple of days.
All right. Chief Blumberg.
We're progressing with all 4 of our new coppers. One's about to graduate on Friday. One just started the academy, one's going to the transition academy next week. And then the one we're waiting on the military background to be confirmed through the training board, and then we should be good to go. The one that's on field training is doing great.
Good.
It's just getting to know Swansea, so.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, and then the cars that you're gonna allow us to auction, our 3 new ones are already built, ready for pickup some point this week, beginning of next week at the latest, so we're in good shape.
All right, very good. Thank you. Chief Little.
I don't have anything further for you, other than the great news that Mr. Christmas was found. Appreciate everybody that helped with that.
Yep, thank you, sir. All right, zoning guy.
Believe it or not, I got nothing. It's unusual, but
That really is
in
unusual.
a couple weeks, it'll be.
I'm going to move on to hear something, you think of something.
Sounds good.
Village Administrator, Ben.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few quick comments. As you know, I was on vacation 2 weeks ago. I came back and had a surprisingly rough bout with COVID. So I was out most of last week as well. Spent the weekend trying to catch up on email, and I think I'm almost there. I do also have a small procedure this Thursday. I'll be back full force on Monday. Just FYI. Up top, just a few things. We are still trying to finish finalizing the agreement with District 201. remember, once we do that, we'll move along to 110 and 118. Met with the transit district, potentially helping them with bus shelters, the new bus stop benches and platforms they provided at Fullerton and 159. So we're looking at potentially bringing something to you guys to help them out through our TIP district. Finalizing temporary construction easements now with Aldi, if you'll recall, kind of a negotiation to get us moving forward on our 159 sidewalk projects was the completion of their Garden Street entrance, which we have now signed an agreement to get repaved. So that should be moving forward as well. St. Clair County Parks Grant should be coming out hopefully this week. They usually do around November. This year they're up to $40,000. We got a couple ideas for applications. One of them's a small bridge, working with the transit district on a couple other potentials as well. And to dovetail with that, the township is making application, I believe, for their parks grant for Centennial Park. So we're going to meet with them and talk about how we can work with them to improve that park. I think there's discussion about parking. I think that's front and center of their next efforts. So hopefully we can be of some assistance there.
All right. Can I ask a question? I seen they put trash cans at all them bus stops. Whose responsibility is it to pick the trash up every couple days or whatever?
That would be us, Public Works.
Just curious, because I seen them and I'm like, now who's responsible for that?
You're not going to see eye to eye out there.
Well, it's worth it if people will use them.
No, I agree. I mean, I think they're great if people use them, but I didn't know who was responsible.
Right, no, I understand.
Maintaining them.
And hopefully people will use them. As far as the covers for those things, the day they dedicated those things, Ben and I talked, and we thought it would be good on our part, since they're doing a lot of things, that we partner up and we take care of the cover on those. So I hope that you all will agree with that. They're really not that expensive. And they will put them up. We just have to fund them. So putting them up is not on you, Rick. I knew you said that.
I'll be in touch with Director Sharkey probably next week for those discussions.
And I have a name for you. I'll give to you that does the actual ordering of those things for you.
Very good.
Anything else, Ben?
Nothing further. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Moving on, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mayor. Treasurer's Report. This report is as of July 31st, 2025. Fund 1, the general fund, had a balance of $7,484,231.64. Fund 3, the ARPA account, had a balance of $158,276.29. Fund 6, the motor fuel, had a balance of $1,554,712.88. Fund 11, the Rural King District, had a balance of $246,878.58. Fund 12, the 159 Bowl Business District, had a balance of $1,822,823.20. Fund 13, the Redevelopment Area Fund, had a balance of $197.87. Fund 14, which is TIF number 1, had a balance of $2,013,318.20. Fund 15, which are TIF number 2, had a balance of $281,979.90. Fund 21, the Sewer Operation and Maintenance, had a balance of $955,545.57. Fund 22, the Sewer Capital Replacement, had a balance of $7,758,711.77. Fund 25, the Sewerage Reserve, had a balance of $736,458.79. Fund 97, the Capital Fund, had a balance of $116,878.87. And Fund 99, the Capital and Maintenance Fund, had a balance of $2,791,217.01, for a grand total of all the funds of $25,921,230.57.
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jablonski,
Yes. Aye.
oh, okay. Trustee Tuvena,
Aye.
trustee Carey,
Oh,
Trustee Lewis,
Oh, I was like, no, I was thrown off, like,
trustee Lantern,
Aye.
trustee Pojek,
Aye.
trustee McGuire.
Motion carries. Public comment. Is there anything for public comment from anybody? Okay, now is the time, ma'am. If, there'll be a form up there you'd fill out. You don't have to do it right now, but,
Okay.
you'll have 3 minutes to address the board. And, if you'll stand at the podium, give your name so the clerk can get it,
Okay,
and we'll go from there. Go ahead.
okay.
My name is Cheryl Logan. I live at 412 Mimosa Avenue. I've lived there for 30 years. My husband was Mike Logan. He was a band director at Wolf Branch for 34 years. I taught there for 17 years. I have a sinkhole on the side of my property. On May, I came here and asked what I should do, and they said they'll get in touch with the right people and they'll get in touch with me. Nothing happened. On June, I came back and we did the same thing. On June 17th, I was just irritated, so I made a poster with the pictures of my sinkhole and the entrance from the water running off of Mimosa through a great big pipe that is 35 inches in diameter that goes to a retention pond in my backyard. Well, it worked. The gentleman from Swansea came in a white truck and he sat down and talked to me and he looked at what was going on and he said I did not have an easement and that it would cost me $30,000 to $40,000 to repair this pipe. And he said that they needed to investigate and he would get back to me. Well, that never happened either. So down the street, a block from me is Dan Myrick, who had the same thing happen to him. And he spent years and years and years and it didn't get fixed. Channel 2 TV came and took pictures of it. And he told me the only time he got some action is when he came to this meeting. So here I am. I went to the courthouse. I got a plat. I do have a 15-foot easement for drainage and utilities. I came last week to say that I had the plat, but once again, I never received a call. I never get any information about this. So I would like to get an appointment with somebody to sit down and talk about my easement. And my son works for IDOT. He's a civil engineer for IDOT. Cal, take it away.
I've just worked around a lot of storm sewer and I've seen this situation of pipe fails. Dirt sill goes into it and you have a depression above it. I think that's what's going on there. And she does have an easement. There's different ways to address that. But I mean, I've installed and removed and replaced lots of that stuff. I think that's why she wanted me to come with. But I guess, is there anybody here from the street department?
Yes, Mr. Tucker in the back.
Right there.
Okay.
No.
He told me to call him tomorrow.
Our street department supervisor would have been the one that you spoke to at your residence. I was not aware that there were any easements on your property. I'd have to look back on that and see if TWM, our engineering company, got us that information. We usually reach out to them and check for easements. I have not received that information back in my office, whether there were easements or not on that.
Well, I've got the plat, you know, if I can sit down and just show it to somebody.
I'd love to see it.
Okay.
That's new to me.
Okay.
The address is familiar.
Yes.
And I know that our foreman had come out and spoke to you.
Well, Mr. Myrick went through the same thing and summer, they spent all summer fixing his. He had a sinkhole too and they spent all summer fixing it.
I recall that
Okay.
clearly.
I would say, I just spoke with your supervisor on Saturday and he informed me about this. He had not heard back from TWO.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what he was waiting on an answer if we had an easement or not.
Okay. And evidently now we know with the work that you've done to get your plat. And apologize it's taken so long. That's the information that we need to try to take a closer look at it.
Okay. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, here, take this for you too. I'll come out with the village administrator.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No,
All right. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Moving on, report of committees, Personnel Committee.
okay,
You said you were taking this
okay,
part over.
all right.
Are you not?
Not this time.
Okay.
We talked to everybody first.
Okay, sorry, just, that's what you threw me off for. Excuse me one second.
Thank you. I would like an appointment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
One thing that Natalie and I just talked about, and I'm not going to do it this meeting. I will call everybody to talk about doing it. But we talked about changing the way we run the regular meeting, where I'll actually call for a vote on certain things. You as trustees can then make a motion in a second, and then the questions about whatever you have, instead of the old way we did it. But before I do that, I'm going to call and talk to everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Jablonski.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a travel request for Chief and Deputy Chief. This will be for the 2025 Illinois Chapter FBI National Academy Associates Annual Conference in Galena, Illinois, November 4th through 7th. Training cost is $800 for 2 people. Lodging for 2 people is $804. Meals at $210 and fuel at $369.51. So it's estimated right now at $2,183.51. I'd like to make a motion for approval of the travel request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Jablonski.
Aye.
Trustee Tuvena.
Aye.
Trustee Pochek.
Aye.
Trustee Lanter.
Aye.
Trustee McGuire.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a recommendation from the chief for a offer to hire paid on-call duty crew firefighter Luke Crossley. This is a non-exempt hourly position at $19 per hour. I'd like to make a motion to approve the hire.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions? Let's do a roll call on that too, please.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Tuvena.
Aye.
Trustee Jablonski.
Aye.
Trustee Lanter.
Aye.
Trustee Pochek.
Aye.
Trustee McGuire.
Aye.
Anything else, ma'am?
No, sir.
We will close personnel, finance.
We'll make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $541,494.28. Have the funds drawn from the proper accounts, not thrown.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Questions on the throne account?
I kind of prefer that mental image.
Oh, well, he's there.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Jablonski.
Aye.
Trustee Tuvena.
Aye.
Trustee Lanter.
Aye.
Trustee Pochek.
Aye.
Trustee McGuire.
Aye.
Judiciary.
Nothing.
Tabled right now.
Yeah, because that basically got tabled. We'll have something for you next week. Well, excuse me, by next meeting.
All right, thank you, sir. Nothing for community and economic development. Is that correct, Mr. Leonard?
Correct.
Public safety, please.
I'll make a motion. We read the upcoming ordinance for personal property declared surplus by title only.
Second.
Motion and a second.
First read.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance declaring personal property owned by the village of Swansea and used by the police department as surplus, specifically a white 2024 Interceptor sedan, VIN 1FM5K8 AB4PGA 82813 with 75,068 miles and 1,278 idle hours, a white 2024 Interceptor sedan, VIN 1F M5K8AW4LGC67859 with 83,519 miles and 1,335 idle hours, a silver 2018 Ford Interceptor sedan VIN 1FM5K8AR3JGC 76608 with 74,749 miles and 12,712 idle hours, and a white 2016 Ford Interceptor sedan VIN 1FM5K8AR2GGA 19433 with 109,249 miles, and authorizing them to be sold.
Ben, is this the first reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And that was the first reading, folks. So nothing else on that at the moment. Public Works,
What's the resolution number?
Have an ordinance number 1996.
No.
the resolution
Oh,
for,
I wasn't given a resolution number.
anybody have an old one?
1-2704, I believe.
So 1-2704 is the current one to use, sir?
I believe. The last one I have on my notes from the last meeting for approving MFT, August 18th was the last meeting.
Okay, let's use that unless we find out different, we can always come back.
I'll make a motion to read resolution 1-2704 by title only.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Resolution number 1-2704, a resolution accepting the price quotation of $44,400 from Equipment Service Company Incorporated, 4415 Douglas Road, Millstadt, Illinois, 62260, for the purchase and installation of a new Iron Star platform body and HD Western snowplow for the Public Works Department, new 2025 Ford F600.
I'll make a motion to approve the reading of 1-2704 by title only and declare it passed.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Jablonski.
Aye.
Trustee Tuvenall.
Aye.
Trustee Pocek.
Aye.
Trustee Lanter.
Aye.
Trustee McGuire.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll make a motion to read resolution 1-2705 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Resolution number 1-2705, a resolution authorizing the president of the Board of Trustees to execute a contract with Mayor Landscaping Incorporated, 3620 High Prairie School Road, Belleville, Illinois, 62220, in the amount of $568,302.17 for previously approved MFT roadwork.
I'll make a motion to accept the reading of 1-2705 by title only and declare it passed.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Before I make a motion for roll call, if somebody wasn't on streaming, just so they know, the 568,000 is not for landscaping. It is actual pavement work in a community in one of our neighborhoods. So just so we understand that. Roll call, please.
Really quick, Mayor, if you don't mind, would you guys care to explain what the road work is, just really quick, or is it just general contract?
It's reconstruction of Ednick Drive.
Okay, of Ednick. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear. Okay.
That's for that.
I just want to make the record that
Ednick Drive.
Okay, so
It's in your pack as well.
we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jablonski.
Aye.
Trustee Tuvenall.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Pocek.
Aye.
Trustee Lanter.
Aye.
Trustee McGuire.
Aye.
Motion carries. Nothing further under Public Works. Cultural Committee, anything, sir?
No, sir, not at this time.
Swansea report, ma'am.
Swansea report is printed. It'll be going out and is currently online.
Thank you. Anything for old business?
I have something, please.
Yes, ma'am.
It's been brought up before and I'd like to bring it up again. I understand that sometimes things happen, but it's really pertinent that we get our packets in time for with us to review them. I don't know about anyone else, but getting them on Friday before a holiday weekend was a bit of a challenge, especially with the server being down and not being able to access email for a period of time. So if we can do a better job of getting those out by Wednesday, I'd appreciate it.
All right, we will make sure that happens. There was a few circumstances here, namely Ben, COVID, and
Sure, I would, very sensitive to that. It keeps creeping and I'd like to get it back, please.
it will be fixed.
Thank you.
Anything for new business?
I have just something to bring up. Rick, what was that piece of equipment called that?
The lawnmower?
No, the road, the thing for the roads that you were talking about tabling till next.
That was a road widener. It had a few different trade names to it, but it was basically some equipment that we had in the budget to help with our patching and asphalt program. We did put those funds in the budget for this fiscal year. We took the opportunity to demonstrate the equipment we requested. We weren't happy with it. It just wasn't going to be everything we thought it was, everything it was portrayed to be. It was not, it wasn't going to do enough work for us for what it was going to cost us. So it really just didn't fit our needs.
It took more manpower to run it from what I understand talking to David.
And it just wasn't the best thing for our application for what we do here.
So with that being said, I was speaking with Supervisor Sager, and right now we are 3 lawnmowers down. Within the last month and a half, we've lost, motors have blown up, different issues. They went to a demo for a mower that will either mow 6 or 12 feet, foldable things, it can be used at both parks. All the parks in the big wide open areas. They feel it's gonna be a time saver. And between not replacing all of them mowers and having this money, if they don't purchase this project or this patch machine, it would still be in the budget. So they're working to get some pricing together. Just kind of want to let everybody know that they weren't going to proceed with that one item and maybe bring something to the board for the other. They also would like to purchase a 24-foot trailer, I believe. So just kind of making it aware so you guys know that probably bringing something different to the board that still falls under the budget money. It'd actually be about
What do we have budgeted for the widener?
about 160,000 from what I understand.
Okay.
So between the new mower and this, it'd be probably half or less. So
how many mowers are you talking about?
well, this would be one that actually goes on the back of a tractor.
Okay.
And it'll allow them to cut like either a 6-foot section or it's got like arms that come down. And it cuts at a decent speed. So they're figuring the way he made it sound, it may save them a full day after watching the demo out at Clinton Hills of mowing.
Is it like a 0-turn?
No, it goes on the back. It's an attachment on the back of one of our existing tractors.
Okay.
And and I don't know, I wasn't necessarily prepared for that tonight, but it is much wider than 6 feet.
Yeah, it folds down to like it'll mow like 12 foot at a time and it's rear discharge. So they're working on getting us some information. I just wanted to kind of put it in everybody's head that.
Well, that's quite a few extra swipes saved.
Yeah, they may do a trade. Our biggest mower right now is 6 feet.
Right.
From what I understand. So we'd be able to cut about twice the width.
Do we have any alternatives on the street side?
Not that we've come up with yet at this point, just basically, if we could take on some more hot flat topping, we don't do a whole lot of hot flat top. But we do have our milling machine. We do have a project coming up on Bond Avenue where we will be doing some hot asphalt. I think if we kind of beef that part of the program up, I think we can do more good. But otherwise, just the same processes we've been using all along. We haven't seen anything that we're that excited about it at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing to, Dave also expressed that it takes at least a minimum of 3 people to run that other machine. And being kind of short on manpower right now too, it just isn't the right machine for what we need. But just wanted to kind of let everybody know that looking at some alternative.
All right, appreciate that. Sound like good alternatives to me. Yeah. Anything else, anybody? Anything for announcements? The only announcement I'll have is, folks out here, take it easy on our street department while they're oil and chipping the roadway. They're going as fast as they can. Actually, you guys do that very quick.
When we've got a full truckload of oil, we've got full trucks of rock, it does move pretty quick.
Right.
The biggest problem that we had today, was the turnaround time on the oil truck. So we did get Old Caseyville complete, all about 70 feet. We'll be doing that, first thing in the morning. We did want to get Grimmick Road done tonight. We would have kept on working, but the contractor was not in favor of that. So we did not get to Grimmick. We'll be doing that after the school buses run through tomorrow. We're gonna wait until after school's in session. Won't take us long to do it once we get over there, but we're gonna wait until school traffic is complete before we start on Grimmick.
And I will give you the superintendent's number that called me today.
Okay.
So if you need it, you can call.
All right, thank you.
And again, just please be kind and patient. Any other announcements? Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We're adjourned.